Welcome back to season 4, Your Bold Voice. After a lot of going back and forth and contemplating, I was not going to launch a fourth season of LinkedIn Live. I was going to, I don't know what I was going to do for this year, for 2022. However, we decided to launch season 4. The official season begins a week from today with another guest of mine. But here is the deal. If you know me and you know me well, first of all, I do have a big, bold voice, I've been told. But aside from that, I have been doing collaborations since, oh gosh, probably for the last 10 years when I entered online with my business, 10, 12 years ago. And I'm a big proponent of collaboration. There is nothing like group, tribe, collaborate, call it whatever you want. More minds better than none. And as we're business owners, entrepreneurs, we need the like-minded peeps around us to get us through the ups and downs, the ins and out, the lefts and right, the joys, and so on. So I sat here, and this is what pushed me for season 4. This group that you see here, we all came together, and you're going to learn this very shortly, by this one handsome gentleman, Mark, pulled us all together, and we wrote an article, and he launched it right before the new year, just this past December. And I'm going to let him tell you all how it hit, where it was seen, what went on. And we, all of us, just started this email thread. And I thought, you know what? We do a lot of talking about collaborating. I'm going to bring it into action. So I want to welcome everybody today. We have half of the collaboration. Of course, unfortunately, not everybody could make it, but that's okay. We have these beautiful, wise people here that implemented their words, insights, and wisdom on this article. So enough of me talking. By the way, my name is Kim Boudreaux Smith, but you know that because you're on my LinkedIn Live page. Your Bold Voice bonus show. We are kicking off with this phenomenal collaboration. I am not going to do the honors of introducing everybody. I'm going to allow everyone to do that themselves. And we're going to start with Mark. If you could take the mic.
I would love to take the mic, and also the incredible Michelle Rainglass has now turned up as well. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Stephen Pooler, the Global Profile Builder. I'm a PR expert and support entrepreneurs with digital media and digital marketing to get them known globally. I'm an international best-selling author, radio host and web television host, and it's great to see my friends and clients all on the collaboration today.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. And by the way, for those of you who are getting ready to log into LinkedIn and stuff, please connect with Mark. Mark is a who's who of who to be connected to and know, and he has a big, huge heart. Big time. Big time. He's the real deal. So I'm going to open up the next introduction with Alex, please.
So excited to be here with you all these fabulous women and fantastic men. My name is Alex Vitilla. I'm your leading shamanic priestess of wealth and well-being. And you might be thinking, what is a leading shamanic priestess of wealth and well-being? Well, many things, but what concerns you, I work with high achievers, rebels at heart, to really empower them to become the successful, impactful, rich leader that I aspire to be. So I work with clients to go from lack and scarcity to success and prosperity. Thank you,
Alex. And where you are so greatly needed with what you do with your clients and this whole world. Absolutely. Thank you for being here today, Alex. Caroline.
Hello, and I am delighted to be part of this amazing team here, thanks to Kim. I empower people to discover how they can find freedom from their physical, mental, and emotional well-being to live the life that they want without their unnecessary suffering. Not just the life they want, but the life they deserve, because everybody needs to know that they deserve more than what they've got when they're free of the past.
Yes, indeed, Caroline. I say, well, actually, I won't just say yes. I'll say, hell yes, we all deserve what we need, and there's so much of us to getting to what we want and desire, especially one of the biggest things for me personally is getting out of my own way. So your work is so greatly needed as well. Thank you for joining us today, Caroline. Desiree.
Hi, I'm Desiree Anderson. I'm the MD of Crest Coaching and HR. And my vision is to create a wave of cultural change in the workplace by empowering leaders and their teams to find their unique crest and thereby accelerate their happiness, wealth, and success.
So for the record, and welcome, Desiree, for the record, I'm not going to let any of you go today because you talk about like-minded, and boy, oh boy, with all of us, we could change the world. We're going to do that today. In my opinion, we're going to do it. No pressure, everybody. In my opinion. Thank you. Michelle. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. How are you all? Oh my goodness. I'm a reformed lawyer turned mediator. That's my day job. And I'm now pursuing my passion and dream of being an author. And so I am a co-author of one book that is a #1 international bestseller. That's because there was 30 authors and they're all great. And then I'm working on my own book, which is it's going to be launching soon. It is on balance, called How to Break Free from Addiction to Busy. So I help people get balanced. I've been studying balance. I don't even know. It was my own journey. Living a life, I call it sort of masking my life, where I was very successful appearing on the outside, elected to this and elected to that and president of this. And people tell me, oh, we admire you and can we be mentored by you? And inside I'm thinking, me, what have I got to do to tell you, and I felt sort of like, a fake. I don't even like to use the word imposter syndrome, but I lived like that in this state of imbalance. And I kept trying to do all these things to try and heal myself, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And finally, after a number of tries and a few knocks on the head, I was able to achieve that. And so that's kind of my journey now. It's still my side gig, but so that's about it. And I'm just in awe of every one of you. And I read all the bios, and then I got to meet you, at least virtually. But I should have not expected anything less. And Mark, oh my goodness, when you said heart, Kim, I think it was Kim, but anyway, and it was heart. There's no screen here big enough to show Mark's heart. He is such a real deal, authentic, in every single way. And I'm honored to be on. I was honored to be interviewed by Mark, and I'm honored to be here with you, Kim, and all of you wonderful people. And I'll shut up.
Thank you for jumping on and all of that. And before I step over to Brenda, Michelle, can I so relate about that imposter? It's amazing how accelerated and successful, but we still can get that little bit of ness going on in there. And it's like you're saying, you're, doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. And then someone asks you to come along. It's like, that hag in the attic, I call her, the inner critic's like, oh crap, and they want me to, oh gosh, all that. But so welcome. And thank you for being so vulnerable around that, Michelle. Hang on, Brenda. So for those of you who are logging on to this live show, we do not know you are there unless you put a comment in the stream here. Otherwise, you are just listening. I see a few of you logging in. I want to thank you for all of you that are listening and logging into today's live show. Please note, as you are commenting, we will not be addressing those until the very end. So if you have a question or something, I just want to let you know, we're not ignoring you. We're going to focus on this whole group, on this collaboration. So welcome for those of you who are logging in. Brenda, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hi, thanks very much, Mark. Thank you for bringing this all together. It's amazing. I'm just so delighted to be here with all of you, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you more, and that's what it's all about. So my name is Brenda Dempsey. I live in England, but I'm Scottish, as you can tell from the accent. My purpose in life at the moment is through publishing. I opened my publishing house in June 2020, Book Brilliance Publishing. So Mark and I have got a lot in common. I talk about, now I'll probably get this the wrong way, Mark, business brilliance and brilliance business. So we've got the same line, Mark and I. So Mark and I have worked together before. So as you said, Kim, in the beginning, easy to say yes. So I'm a publisher now. My background's in education. I was in education for 25 years. I'm a mother of 4, grandmother of 6. In a year, I have grown a massive business internationally with clients in Dubai, Malaysia, India, Australia, and Germany. And we are just flying, and it's brilliant. And do you know what? Collaboration is our second value, only preceded by integrity. So I'm the rodeo.
Indeed.
Fantastic.
Welcome, Brenda. Indeed. Absolutely. And thank you for being here. And boy, you were saying all these time zones you're going around. I'm immediately thinking I need a nap with all those times. But again, this whole group right here, we're on all different time zones, from the West Coast in the United States to Eastern Standard to UK time. So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Welcome, Brenda. Gwen, by the way, Gwen, you have not, for somebody, you're my West Coast girl it's 8:40 in the morning. It's first thing in the morning for you. You have not stopped smiling since we have come on the call.
Well, that's what happens when you're an ambivert. It's like when I'm around people, they just light me up, and especially luminaries like all of you. I'm Gwen Leverett, and Kim, thanks for bringing us together through Mark. Loved being in the article with all of you, and when you said, "Hey, let's do this," I was like, again, I love that you call it the hag and the addict. It's like me. So I'm a radiant relationship luminary, and as so, I shine the way to empower entrepreneurs to evolve beyond limitations, and especially empathic entrepreneurs. I've triumphed over narcissistic abuse and energy bully abuse, and I love to elevate intuitive entrepreneurs to overcome relationship baggage, optimize their self-love, and own their personal power, obliterating anxiety on the way. So as you can probably guess that I've been having a lot of people say, please. And I've co-authored 6 books, discovered another one since you interviewed me last, Mark, and including the award-winning international bestseller, Navigating the Clickety-Clack Volume 2. Volume 3 just dropped. And Joe Vitale and Marie Diamond were from the hit movie The Secret were in that book. So, of course, that's why international bestseller, 6 countries, #1. And it was amazing. I've been on a lot of podcasts and other things. And when we talk about what I've got coming up, I'm really excited to share what's happening there. The thing that I'm most passionate about is creating radiant relationships that stand the test of time. So being invited to collaborate, it's right in alignment, because I've always kind of been a loner growing up on a mountainside in Montana. And so it's not my wheelhouse to collaborate. And yet I absolutely love it. As you said, Kim, I'm here and I'm smiling, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better.
Thanks, Gwen. Thank you for being here. Thanks for waking up early and getting camera ready first thing in the morning.
Oh, the Zoom filters. It's the Zoom filters.
Thank goodness for those.
There's no makeup.
We appreciate that.
Too early for makeup.
Thank you for representing California and the West Coast of the United States. We so appreciate that. All right, let's jump in. Mark, I want to know, first of all, #1, where you got the idea of these predictions for 2022. Where did that come about? And then, because you have, no pun intended, or you have a huge database. I've like I said this last year, I've watched you build your business, and I've watched you talk about visibility, which is part of the coaching that I do. Visibility, oh my Lord, visibility. So Mark, what gave you the idea, and how did you feel into bringing us together?
So I did an expert predictions before your version of it the year before. It was when the pandemic had first started. So I was kind of hoping for some hope at the end of the tunnel. And that was why I did expert predictions, to hopefully spread some positivity and light. I think Caroline was in the original one actually as well. But then the year after, it come around again, and the positivity and hope I had hoped for that year didn't really happen. We were still in the same kind of predicament. So I thought, it's coming up to January. I think we need to do another expert predictions article. And also we got the incredible Marie Diamond from The Secret movie involved, which was great to have her part of it as well. And I just really wanted to, again, spread positivity and light for this coming year, because it's been a tough couple of years. And then I looked at previous friends and clients, which are all of you guys here, and I picked people that I felt were in line with values, integrity, and in line with business values. And then that's what I did. I reached out to you all personally, and that's how expert predictions come about.
So that's so beautiful. You know, I had a feeling, Mark, that you did that. Now, I didn't know the backstory to the prediction article, but I had a feeling, getting to know you over this past year, that you would just intuitively feel in, and just, you know, strategically, so to speak, who you were going to reach out to and invite in. And yes, we were all very fortunate to have someone like Marie Diamond and all of us in this article. And I've got some comments up my sleeve for you, Mark, and this whole group. I'll save it to the end. So let's jump in. Let's start with the big why. Why did you all say yes to Mark, even though I know it's a little difficult to say no to him? Why? And I'm not going to call on anybody. Just unmute yourself, jump in, ladies, and why? Tell me why you say yes to Mark.
Mark, can I jump in? And I want to say that, yeah, no, it's, you know, it's a privilege to be invited in the first place. But not only that is, and I'm sure you're all the same, when you're passionate about the message you've got and you know that the world needs to hear it, then who's going to turn down an opportunity to share that message? So that was my why.
Yeah.
And I love working with Mark anyway. So.
Yes.
It's fun working with Mark. And yes, I agree with you. I agree with you, Caroline. As a entrepreneur or business owner, we don't pass up opportunities like this. This is about visibility. This is thought leadership. This is, I mean, we can go one step past the expertise that we all wear individually. Go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, so easy to say yes to Mark, because as I said in the beginning, that we've worked before. But more than that, it's that whole integrity thing. So I know that anybody that says yes to Mark, we all attract and we all reflect who we are inside. So, and we're all here and we're all probably working on a global stage. So therefore, with Mark, who's PR guru, and as you rightly said, is building up, and it's wonderful watching him bloom over the last 12 months especially. And so we just know by seeing who he's connecting with, interviewing, that if he says he's got this idea and he's personally inviting you, and it's not a blanket invitation, you're going to say yes, because I know already there's going to be so much collaboration between us as small groups, a bigger group, and between, you know, each of us, you know. So for me, saying yes to Mark, if he's involved, then I'm closely behind him. So yeah, so easy to say yes. And so thanks, Mark, and thanks, Kim, for allowing us to
blush.
I definitely found working with Mark in the past so rewarding, because he's got this inner kindness, and I know he does a lot with bullying, helping bullying in schools, and that really plays to my values of kindness and empathy in the workplace. So when Mark asked me, I liked the idea of the positivity of approaching the new year and giving my gems of wisdom, but not only that, collaborating with such special people. So thank you, Mark, for inviting me. And I will always accept that kind of invitation, because it's with people that have that integrity, who really care about others.
Yes, I agree with you, Desiree. Go ahead. Who else would like to step in?
Okay. Can I step in? It wasn't. Okay. So my interview, I'm also in California. My interview was on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Now, I want you to know I am a morning person anyway. So, but that doesn't mean getting up at 4.
Doing the makeup and the hair and everything.
And all that other stuff. Practically, I had to go to bed with it, right? But Mark had done so many things for me. And he was, I mean, it's just one of those things where it wasn't a question about saying yes to me. I will say this, he was very persistent, and it was only because of my schedule. I was just, going gangbusters working on the book. I have a full-time job and I have this other full-time job, the side job, which is our passion. We're all used to that. So anyway, that's the only reason that I feel guilty when somebody has to reach out to me a number of times, but he was persistent in a very positive way, positively persistent.
I like that.
Yeah. So anyway, and it was Halloween morning, so I will never forget the date of our interview. But anyway, you're the only one I would do that early for. Well, maybe I make an exception here and there, but no, you're phenomenal. The positivity, the smile. He's always smiling. And you also, the other thing, and one of you just mentioned it, you shared your vulnerability with me in like one of our, I think it was during our interview. And I thought, wow, I want to interview this guy. I'm going to turn around and interview it. Now Kim's getting that opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm going to even have a more individual opportunity with Mark in next season as well. Mark doesn't know that yet, but I just announced it live, so now he can say no to me. I announced it live, Yes, absolutely, because I'm a big proponent of, and ladies, I know we have all heard this, and including you, Mark, we hear, look at, if there's not room at the table, come bring your own table. I say BS to bring your own table. If you have to stand in the room, you stand in the room, but we also need men. Look, it's not about always women having to do the heavy lifting. We need men like Mark, who's not just necessarily getting up and, have a seat in my chair or let me pull the chair out for you. He's standing next side by side with us and leaning in and going, I'm not doing this unless this female counterpart is also included. And these are the type of men that we need today, not just here in the country that 3 of us are sitting in the United States, but we need this globally. And that's why, for me personally, among a lot of things, it's difficult to say no to Mark because of how he shows up. I'm going to be quiet. I'll let the rest of you step on in why you say yes to Mark.
I'm going to jump in. For me, it was, of course, Mark. And as well, when you said forecast and prediction, as a shaman and a priestess, I hear divination. What can I predict about 2022? And it was just too exciting. And at the same time, I always say to clients, miracle happens outside your comfort zone. I've never done something like that. To put black on white, this is what I think is going to happen. It's a little bit of a risk, right? Because people can always go back and say, work didn't work. But I felt, no, really gotta do it. And it's so amazing because this is the miracle. We're all here, different part of the country, different states. And it's amazing to be here with you all. So very excited. And yes, let's jump outside of our comfort zone and make those miracles happen.
I'm with you on that. Absolutely. Who has not, Gwen? I just saw you on yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was waiting quietly. Mark was introduced to me by someone who I trust implicitly, and it was the publisher of Navigating the Clickety Clack, Keith Leon. And because of that introduction, I went, okay, what's this guy got? And when we did the interview, I was in Montana, so it was actually 7:30 instead of 6:30. I had an extra hour for brain waking, and Mark, you shared, as everyone, others have said, your vulnerability. And I was so impressed with your knowledge of narcissists, because that's what we were talking about, because I help empaths evolve beyond narcissistic abuse. And I actually didn't have that knowledge. I'm like, oh, he's interviewing me. I'm supposed to be the expert, but he's more of an expert about narcissists than I am. I'm the expert at getting over and evolving beyond the narcissist. So when he came to me with a number of other options and possibilities, I'm just like, yes. And if it wasn't in my budget or wasn't the right time for me, I'm like, please keep me in mind. So you have continued to reach out, and every time I see your messages, my heart swells and I get this warm and fuzzy, and it's like, can I do this? Can I do this one? Because you always bring it, and PR is definitely something that I'm very happy to have somebody that's an expert on my team. because it's not my wheelhouse. So thank you for allowing our voices to be heard or read or seen. I greatly appreciate you.
Agreed.
It's a pleasure working with you all. Excuse me. You're all amazing business women, and you all show up, and you're all so in line with what I'm about. So it's my pleasure working with all of you as well.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Caroline is going to be stepping off here in a minute. So, Caroline, I want to. I'm going to switch it here. So, a prediction, one of your predictions that was in the article, or a prediction that was not in the article. Real quickly, could you share it with us before Caroline's getting ready to go teach a yoga class, and we are not going to keep her from that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so one of my predictions was that self-care is going to be the new healthcare. Those in healthcare are struggling like everybody else in the world. And we all know, I remember that saying my mum, dear mum, used to say, you know, if you want a job done, do it yourself. And if you want to take control of your own well-being, then you have to do something for yourself, because constantly relying on somebody else to do something for us is, in my view, not going to be the way forward. Things are changing. People are opening their minds to other alternatives. And that was my prediction, one of my predictions for the future.
I'm so happy, Caroline, that you are vocally saying this, because there needs to be choice around our world of alternative and traditional and East meets West and whatever the case may be. So yes, kudos to you for bringing that one of those up, that one prediction. That was absolutely beautiful. And I know you need to step out. I want to thank you for joining us here.
Thank you, Caroline.
I'm sorry I can't stay, but there's collaborations here, and it'd be great to spend time talking to all of you and getting to know you all even more, because there's a synergy.
Yes.
And that's important. And we're all part of that energetic universal world. And we know when we want to connect, and we make sure it happens. So thank you all. And
thank you, Caroline.
I look forward to listening to the rest of the show.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for joining us, Caroline. We appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to open it up. Who would like to jump in on your prediction? I said to Mark I was not going to predict. I was going to use intentions. So whatever words you would like to use, who would like to share next of the one prediction intention that you shared? Go ahead, Brenda. Just jump in.
So I'm in a very privileged position as a publisher, helping make dreams come true. That's what Caroline told me. She, her book, Feel It to Heal It, we published it, and it was such a joy working with her. So I started out in this journey wanting to work mainly with women and empower them, but the universe is a different, my purpose is bigger than that. So I have a number of men. You've already heard I'm now worldwide inside of you. It's unbelievable where my clients are coming from. But this, I truly believe. Now, we're all here. We've got the beautiful Alex. She's a shaman. We know the energy in the planet is changing. There's been too much patriarchal energy and suppression, even, if you like, with that masculine energy. And what I am finding with working with the men, because I am very much in tune with my own masculine and feminine energy, but when working with the men, we're opening up a new world to them, and what's happening is they're embracing their own feminine energy. And that's what I want to say, why Mark is so successful, because Mark can go from masculine energy into feminine energy. He knows when to have his structure and all of that in place, and he knows when to be vulnerable, he knows when to reflect, he knows to do all those beautiful things that come naturally more to women than to men. And I'm very privileged, because I had an author who came to me who wanted to go under the name of a pseudonym, and within 2 to 3 months of working with me, he was bold, he was brave, these are my words, and beautiful, and he stood in that power. And now his book's launching next month, and we called it Mastering the Wolf. I'm sure, Alex, you will like that. So we looked at the whole characteristics of a wolf, who he is and who he has become. And all the men I'm working with are opening up to to this new feminine energy. So my prediction is that male and female are going to get closer and closer together so that we can embrace the world and raise the energy of Mother Earth, so that we can live in harmony, and that will all come through collaboration. So that's what I've found. So I'm just so humbled and privileged to have found my purpose. I'm in my 60s, to find my purpose at this age. And I've embraced it. I should be retiring, but no, I'm just starting off again.
Great.
So that's
Love it. Love it. Love it. I
Great
love it,
prediction.
Brenda. I love it. Absolutely. You know, and I agree with you, Brenda. You know, it's women can go from masculine to feminine, feminine to masculine a lot easier than a man can. But there are also a lot of women that are really tied up tight with that masculine because of this, of the environment we are lived in, this box that's been created by hierarchy, patriarchal, that which by the way, this is where some of the imposter comes from, is we're trying to fit into these boxes. And then what happens is we don't, and then we feel there's something wrong with us. And, you know, that imposter, but there are also women out there that need to learn how to come from that feminine energy and how to dance over with the masculine. It's all about that blending. And I always say it's a dance. It's absolutely a dance. And we all have those masculine and feminine energies, including all the men out there that are listening. All men have masculine and feminine energy. Don't be saying you guys are all a bunch of cuckoo nuts on this show. No, 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 no. You will have the wrath of Kim Boudreaux Smith if you are thinking and saying that. We all have that. So it was beautiful, Brenda. Go ahead. Who'd like to jump in next?
I'll jump in next. So when I was asked for a prediction for 2022, I thought about the leadership world, which is the world that I deal in terms of entrepreneurs and business leaders. And I'm sure you'd all agree that the business world has changed so completely in the last 2 years. Whereas before there was a hierarchy and people would naturally listen to their leader, I think we've all become a lot more aware of our value. And we all demand something in our lives, whether it's work or hobby, that actually plays to our passion and our work-life balance. So ultimately, my prediction and my recommendation for 2022 would be that leaders go on a journey to really get to know themselves completely. So let go of perfectionism and instead embrace your own self-reflection and self-knowledge. And the sort of questions you can ask yourself are, what are my greatest fears? How can I be crystal clear about what makes me happy? How can I be more connected and sensitive to others? And how can I open myself to feedback so that I can grow as a person? And I believe by being more innately attuned to ourselves on this, we can go on a journey to really get to know ourselves as people and as leaders. And ultimately, because the world of work is changing and the world generally is just so turbulent, it can give us that inner stability to know how we are and how sensitive we are to others and to ourselves. And ultimately, that will forge greater connection in the workplace. So that really is my message for 2022, because working with leaders, they have been so confused by where to go. And a lot of them have felt that their previous role has completely disappeared and are trying to find a way of connecting and empowering their teams in globalization and increased competition. And so you need to find a way of standing out. But that way of standing out is not to look at others, but actually to look inwardly at yourself.
Great
Agreed.
prediction.
Agreed, Desiree. Absolutely agreed. Well said. Beautifully said. Who would like to step into a next prediction? Just jump in, everybody. Doesn't matter.
Jumping in. I'm jumping in. Yeah, Desiree, what you said just really resonated. And Brenda, I just loved your passion. Oh my gosh. and that, you know, the finding the masculine and the feminine and working with empaths. I see a lot more empaths and intuitives stepping into leadership roles, and those that are in leadership roles actually opening up to the fact that we all have intuition and listening to that quiet voice that gets louder and louder when we don't listen. And especially in these days and these times,
So true.
allowing people to see your beauty and the strength of vulnerability and authenticity. That is so important, because I can boldly say that I know the purpose of every single person on the planet, and that is to be yourself. And then we have all of those layers of, but who am I really? Because we've been programmed in so many different ways by society, by family, by teachers. And so one of the things that I offer in the article is to take the easy breath. Because everybody always says, take a deep breath. And when you take a deep breath, let's just do a deep breath and an easy breath together. So if you take a deep breath, you notice how your shoulders come up. And it's really more of an upper breath. But if you take an easy breath, you don't even need instructions. So I'll give some. So the easy breath is just allowing your diaphragm to expand out, your rib cage expands out, and the air just rushes in. And as you take an easy breath, that calms the hag in the attic. it calms the fear of being vulnerable and authentic. And so, and it also, you know, people aren't like seeing you breathe. It's like you're breathing a nice, easy breath. And that can help empaths and actually everyone on the planet. If we just start taking easy breaths and giving ourselves easy breaths, that is a way of dealing with all of the things that we have in front of us in 2022. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, love it, Glenn. I've never heard it described as an easy breath, you know, and I want to remind everybody, hello, breathing is free and it's accessible all the time. And I say that with humor is because my very first business is a fitness business. I've been telling people for 30 years to breathe. And guess who is the first to hold her breath? That fitness trainer. So I love that easy breath.
And that actually comes from Keith. That actually comes from Keith Leon.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'll turn it over to someone else who would like to jump in.
I'll jump in. So one of the things that I pointed out that was really true for me, I say, I'm here to eradicate shadow suffering, whatever shadow suffering means for people. And especially in the spiritual world, I hear so many times I suffered, but I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't suffer. And I'm saying that's the old way, the patriarchy, like you say, Kim. Now the feminine ways, we can bring our wisdom without the suffering. What if we could all aim to a world where we grow and evolve and love each other and connect without the suffering? And still I find that there's resistance there. There is, if I hadn't suffered, or I need to go to the aches and pain to find my purpose. No, all we need to do is be together. All we need to do is, I say, find a good mentor, because alone we're going nowhere, or we go through the suffering. But if we're together, you see my blind spot, I see someone else's blind spot, I can inspire you here, I can help you there. Wouldn't it be easier than to think I have to do it all myself and I'm not sure? And then, of course, if you fall, you're going to learn how not to fall, but you can run without having to fall 100 times. So can we please just give into the possibility at least of what if we create a lot easier? We are magical beings. I mean, I talk a lot about magic and I say it's not about dancing naked in the woods. It is if you want, but there's a whole lot new level of magic where we come from the stars and we can activate that within us and everybody else. And I see my children that have been brought up in this environment that can do so many things that we couldn't do. I couldn't do because I was brought up in a different way. So, let's just focus on what magic can we activate within, throughout, around, where we support each other and not, we pretend we're supporting others. And I have to say, sometimes the women, they're the one, like you say, Kim, again, they're in that masculine and they're going to criticize and they're going to, and the man comes from a more innocent sense in a way. It's like, I'm not sure what you do, but I'll go along because I trust that you'll get me the results. And there's no judgment there. And that some women are all, I'll say I'll support you, but you're too good looking for me, so I'll go to that. No. So, more love.
I love that. And if we just, we're all energy beings, with that energy, Alex, that you're talking about. And then if we sprinkle in the easy breath, good, like I said in the beginning of the show, We are going to change the world on this call today with all of us, big time. And yes, it's time to take a look at, non-traditional things. And if you want to be non-traditional, to accept that. And if you want to be traditional, but to be at choice and to open up and embrace people's decisions, people's choices. And I believe I'm a believer and a proponent on this, and excuse me for saying this shit that has been going on these last many centuries. Okay, newsflash, it is not working, and we do need changes implemented without bastardizing people for the changes.
Yes.
So I'm with you there, Alex, 100%. I love it. So let me pull back. We've got two more that have not shared their predictions. Michelle, would you like to go, and then we'll turn it over to Mark?
Sure. So I love everything everyone's saying. And one of the commonalities among everybody is a version of some form of self-care. And that was actually in mine in a different way. In the words of wisdom, I have self-care, self-care and self-love. And I want to go back to what Gwen was saying as far as where our purpose is to be ourself. And I never thought of it that way, but that is so profound, because without us being our own authentic self, we're not going to achieve our purpose, or we'll achieve it with a whole bunch of dangles, or we're going to achieve it in a partial way. So I was processing that, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was like just very deep. So I'm going to add on or supplement that yes, our first purpose is to be our own authentic self. And I think that what happens is, well, no, I don't think this is I know. This is an I know. And we all know here. What's the first thing we do, or people normally do, when you get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom and you go, oh God, I look terrible, or, we start denigrating ourselves, or I just did this yesterday. I'm good at catching it now. It's taken to my self-training, but I started to call myself a stupid or a numbskull or something like that. And I went, cancel, 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 cancel. And I went, why, and even if it's in a humorous type of way, it's still, our bodies are listening, our minds are listening to it all. And so all of that plays such a role. And so it's self-care, it's self-love, and loving ourselves as we are. I just happened to be listening to a podcast by Gabby Bernstein. Last night I go out walk. I do walks in the morning, walks in the evening. And that's where I listen to podcasts. And so I'm going to be adding yours, Kim, to your listening list. And so she was interviewing someone who has a rather large body, admittedly, and she's mastered confidence and knows what people have perceptions and stuff. But she talked a lot about the importance of just loving what we are as we are. And so I think that somebody else mentioned about wellness, or a lot of you have talked about wellness, but I think that a huge shift in our universe is people becoming conscious of their health, not just in the outer way, but in the inner way, because we've all been affected. Even if you didn't get COVID, you've all been affected by COVID. Yeah. That it's shaken everybody up. And so I'm noticing people, for example, this is a trite little thing to say, but back when we were in brick and mortar with that before COVID, I'd be in the women's restroom and somebody would flush the toilet and the door would close immediately. And I'm like, you didn't even stop at the sink, and things like that. And because then I'd find it was a client of mine that I'm having to, do. So it's like people were not caring or as alert. And I think that's a huge shift. So anyway, I think that and gaining balance, and even though I'm on my balance quest, but more importantly, I think it is when you are out of balance in one area, it's affecting all of the other areas. We just don't know it. And so I think those kind of things, they all come into the heading of health and wellness. I think is going to be paramount to everybody now.
It's like a mind, body, and spirit. It's like the wheel of the bike. If one spoke is off, the wheel will still turn, but it won't be as effective. And hitting this all up, I want to add in is this. We are doing all of this and embracing all of this imperfection. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and unapologetically, we're not perfect, but the first place to begin is what Michelle just said. That awareness. We get up in the morning and, oh, I got morning breath, or, I walk by the mirror and my hair, it's becoming more aware of that and stopping, just can't, as Michelle says, I love that, canceling it. And canceling it with the negativity and bringing in some self-compassion, embrace words, and the work I do with women, I hear so many women say, I hate the sound of my voice. Well, if you hate the sound of your voice, who's going to fall in love with it? It begins with us all the time, from inner to outer, begins with us. And I'm going to turn this over to Mark with your prediction, and then we're going to wrap this on up.
Brenda.
So I feel that 2022, we have had the pandemic now for well over 2 years. I do think this year things are going to get better. I also feel that we will get back to more travel and socializing face to face, and the pandemic will eventually die down so that it's not restricting us from doing what we want to do. I feel that we've all woken up as well. I think everyone has woken up through this pandemic, and I feel human beings won't be led by governments so easily because we are a lot more awake. And I also believe the digital world is going to keep on growing and growing and growing. I think the pandemic showed the power of digital media, Zoom, StreamYard, one-on-one face conversations over the internet. I feel digital media is just going to keep on getting stronger and stronger, along with more face-to-face, which will open back up again. I've recently got involved in NFT investing. I think that is going to explode this year as well. So digital media, but I think we're a lot more awake now, and we won't be led by governments into things that we don't want to be led into as easily because we're a lot more awake.
Agreed. I agree. And I cheers, toast to you. This is water, everybody. Well, it's noon here in Michigan.
Me too, by the way.
Cheers. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. You're right, Mark. A lot of people are awakening up. It was a huge wake up call, all of this. And I'm hoping a lot of people stop giving all their eggs to a government, to a one person led, and it is all, of course, more than one person led government, where they're making decisions for us. I mean, sure, I think they need to be part of a decision, but we need to take that power back and make decisions, especially within our four walls of our home. As Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz clicked to Ruby Red Slippers, there's no place like home. It's coming back to home. It's coming back to our home. So I want to wrap this up with all of you to very quickly share with us. Well, there'll probably be two questions left, and I'm going to push the minutes here. Is what one bold thing are you still sitting with that shows up that you are still working through? Go ahead, Gwen.
So you, Michelle, you were talking about self-love. In 2018, I did 365 days live on Facebook asking the question, how do I love myself today? And I've only scratched the surface. I felt so much, so overexposed at the end of that. I missed one day 294. Of course, I did it the next morning and laughed, because by then it was okay to laugh and not beat myself up for it, right? Binge, the streaming network Binge, reached out to me last year saying, we like this. There's nothing like it that we have on our network, and we'd like to, have you on our network. So soft launch February 2nd. That content, that 365 days of content is going on Binge, dripping most of it, but I mean, at least the first 31 days. And I'm also going to be doing more interviews, more collaborations, and bringing new content. And again, asking the question, how do I love myself today? Because I discover that there is conflict within that. So I'm still working on my bold voice, being, having that self-love and fighting with the imposter, and anyway, that's my big news. I'm going to be launching on the Binge streaming Binge network TV, and Mark, I wouldn't have done it had I not said yes to you.
Congratulations! I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, they discovered me because of what I got from you that was on my site.
Congratulations, Gwen.
Really.
That
Thank you
is
so much.
outstanding. And you know, something we always continue to teach or coach, what that one bold piece left keeps showing up in our life. So who would like to share what's that one bold thing that keeps showing up that we continue to very authentically, transparently work on?
I can go. So I lucked into the first book while I was writing my current book, and I haven't yet finished my book. Where we've set a tentative launch date in late March. Pray, pray, pray. And it all depends on me getting everything finished. We're doing all the outside stuff too. But what I have held back, I really want to give a TED Talk. I have my coach set up. He's been for a whole year. We've had some meetings, and he goes, 2022, I'm putting a deadline on December 31, 2022. Mm-hmm. So I have that. I actually do want to get into a little bit of podcasting, but I've been shying away from that. There's a lot of those kinds of things, you know. So I've ventured into the book writing and everything and going forward, and it's taking those next steps. I've been on podcasts. I've been on some little shows and some big shows. It seems like, you know, things like that. But those are, and it's so funny to realize you're resisting certain things. Mm-hmm. and that phrase of the thing we're resisting the most is the thing we're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm.
That visibility piece, Michelle, it can be very nerve-wracking, especially for a lot of women, which I see with my clients, is because we're still what other people are going to think, or am I educated enough? You know, all that inner critic stuff that she likes to pull those orchestra pieces on all of us. So congratulations to you for that TED Talk, and I hope it goes completely viral and it ends up in person and not online.
Yes. Planning for that. Thank you.
We just set the intention here, a stake in the ground. Here we go. Who else would like to jump in? Those that bold piece that's still. Go ahead, Brenda.
So I have a saying: be brave, be bold, be beautiful. And now I'm amplifying being bold, being brave, and being beautiful with a brave heart. So there's something about when you reach 60, and I've just turned 64. And now I am unstoppable, I am fearless, and I am limitless. And I would not have said that before. But do you know what? I know it's true, because I have been engaging with so many people who I would have, I still treat them with respect and in awe and all of that. But I never thought it was possible for me. I still thought I was this wee poor girl from Clydebank who was born in a tenement building, which is like a big tower block, and it was very poor and dirty, if you know anything about Glasgow. And here I am today on a global stage, being bold. So I'm amplifying my bold voice. That's what I'm doing. And this year, I'm stepping up to plate by launching an academy. Obviously, with my educational background, that's a no-brainer. I'm launching a magazine called Brilliance. So watch out for that, ladies. I'm sure you'll be invited into that. And I'm also launching it's my first joint venture, and it's called EVA, and EVA stands for Every Voice Allowed, and it is going to be the equivalent to TED. So it's not in competition, because I do not believe in competition, but it's in sisterhood along with TED. But it's coming from a UK point of view, it's coming from a British point of view, and my partner is the wonderful Dexter Moscow that Mark knows as well, a beautiful author, a beautiful businessman, and he has worked on QVC for over 20 years. So he knows how to present, he knows how to sell. And we're going to put our 2 years, we'll have over 100 years experience between us together to create something bold and big and bright and beautiful, so that women and men can amplify their voice in an authentic way where they're connected truly with who they are. You know, so it's just be raw and real, as I say. So probably there'll be structure, but it'll be more fluid and flexible. I would say. So I'm very, very excited for the year ahead. I'm taking a lot on. I do know my team is going crazy, but do you know what? I know it's going to happen because anything I've set out to do before has happened. So let's do it.
You know, Brenda, first of all, yay and high five and congratulations. And it's awesome to be in that club of 60, isn't it? It's, I mean, I was to tears when I was leaving my 50s. And I mean, literally, I did cry for 5 minutes. I went, what are you doing? Oh my God, you can make 60s rock like you did 50s. So here's to the 60s. Absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what we are when we come into our bold voices. Is the fact that we come into it and we embrace it unapologetically, imperfectly, you know, still having things show up in our lives, but we do it because this is what we have to embrace and pioneer and lead the way out there. And that's why there's collaborations like this. All right. Who would like to go next? We're getting close to the end of the show here. Hi, Desiree.
Hi, yeah. I was just thinking, wow, there's such great plans amongst my collaborators here. That's fantastic. And some of those plans I have as well. So writing more, and I've written a TED Talk. I still need to book that this year. So that definitely will be happening. But I think for me in my life, if I look back on my traumatic childhood, and then having burnout within organizations. For me, I've always been the one that has helped others, especially when I was an HR consultant before I trained as a coach. So I've helped others shine their light. And for me, it's really been a battle to work against my own self-sabotage of being the one who draws back and helps others. So I'll be continuing to leave procrastination and all those other self-sabotage habits at the door and really shine my light and my experience to help others who can benefit from my international experience and my experience across many organizations and cultures so that I can help them with my coaching and HR experience. So that's really my sort of gentle objective this year, besides all my other hard objectives.
Bravo!
Desiree, congratulations. I love that you are going to be front and center stage and not the stage manager behind the curtain. So, so congratulations on also writing that TED Talk and getting it implemented and applying somewhere. And it's, by the way, for those two of you that are in the midst of TED Talks, enjoy the journey. It's a beautiful journey, and it's a lot of work. But enjoy the journey. And I cannot wait to hear this year where you all land with your TED and how it hits the TEDx stage and how it goes viral. So there's two left who would like to share. You know what? Alex, I would love for you to go next so we can wrap the show up with Mark.
Sure. So for me, believe it or not, I say I'm the shyest person on earth. And where I exercise my bold voice is I'm hosting a TV show called Rebel into Riches. So the term rebel and, showing up, stepping up, putting my voice, everything is there, right? It's even now it really stepping out again of my comfort zone, and I do it weekly, and I find satisfying and terrifying at the same time. So, if I say to clients, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love that. Two sensations, scared and excited. That scare sighting, that scared here and the butterflies in the stomach, but we're going to go through it anyways. And Alex, I cannot wait to see that launch. Congratulations. Oh my God, this is exciting. I'm just getting filled up with visibility today, hearing from everybody with your embracing your bold voice. Congratulations, Alex. To you and Mark, I want to wrap this up with you, and then I'm going to with one bold thing that is still sitting out there for you, and then I have some comments.
So I have been working over the last few months with a screenwriter to take my life story and get it onto the screen in a screenplay, biopic style. and it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I have to take it to the next level. Where in the treatment stage at the moment, then it will get funding and then it will go to the television side of things. So I have really got to step into my bold voice and really go out of my comfort zone to go and get the funding and all the right people involved. But I believe you have to follow your passions and the people will show up. So that is something where I'm having to step into my bold voice, and it's exciting as well.
Wow. Mark, first of all, I'm very rarely speechless, and I'm a little speechless here for a moment. Congratulations, number one. Number two, I'm still so in awe of this past year of me meeting you. It was around January, end of January, beginning of February, when Tanya introduced you and I, and watching you just evolve. And here's what you just said is, you know, when you're embracing yourself, and I'm going to paraphrase Mark, so bear with me. When you're embracing yourself and you put yourself out there, the right people will show up. This is all about authenticity, because if you're living a fake it until you make it, which I don't like those words, that fake it until you make it, let me tell you, the fake shows up, the shit shows up, you name it, it becomes hashtag shit show, you name it, it just all shows up. So yes, it's really putting yourselves out there, as nerve-wracking as it can be, and all those sensations. So I want to close the show. First of all, thank you everybody for joining in. I see all the beautiful comments. Thank you all of you for being here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm doing this on live, LinkedIn Live. Mark, I think this group needs to do another one in December and come back around with another predictions article, since we've got this momentum going. And, you know, since we've done for 2022, that hopefully the whole group can come back around and we can do another article as well for December of 2022 going into 2023.
We'll make it happen.
Of course. We ask, we shall receive. We got Mark here. So I want to thank everybody for joining us and logging in today on LinkedIn Live. I want to thank all of you. Hang tight, please don't jump off until this broadcast goes on live. So hang tight. Join me next Tuesday as I officially launched season 4, but man, this is official. It can't get any more official than this. More bold voice. I've got a lineup of 9. I extended the season from 6 to 9. I have a lineup of 9 amazing guests that are really embracing their bold voice. And I'll tell you what, offering up this platform today for us collaborators and co-authors in this article that Mark reached out and Mark led, and we all agreed here. I knew there would be a lot of magic, as Alex says, a lot of magic, but I had I want you all to know my palms are perspiring with great sensation. Mm-hmm. My eyes are watering up. It's just been so amazing that this will now carry on. So thank you. And thank you everybody who
logged in.
We'll see you all next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.